What's up, everybody? 39-minute workout with David here, coming to you with a cool down, a stretching cool down that you're going to do after your kettlebell workout. So what we want to address after our kettlebell workout is to keep the spine loose, especially the thoracic spine, which is your upper back, and to work on those hips. Most of the time with kettlebells, what we're doing is strengthening a lot of upper body muscles and then things around the hips, right? Our glutes, hamstrings, quads. What tends to get tight with kettlebells is our upper back, right? Our thoracic back, because we do a lot of overhead pressing, and that's already compounded by the fact that we're a sitting culture. A culture of people who sit too much at desks, on cell phones, hunched over. So we have to fight the urge to get locked in our spine, arched like this. This is trouble. We need to keep working on that so that as we get stronger, we also get more mobile. Okay, I don't love the word flexible, I love mobile, meaning I can move in a full range of motion, right? That's hip mobility. That's shoulder mobility, being able to put my arms locked up overhead. That's what we're going for here. Mobility and strength means much less pain, much more control. So what we're gonna work on afterwards is thoracic spine mobility, and we're also gonna work on those hips, because as we build strength, we can get tight. So we've got to address that for just a couple minutes after your workouts. If you are not a stretching type person, it's time to be a stretching type person. If you're doing kettlebell swings and squats, you can't do them, stop, go sit down. That's bad news, okay? Really with any workout, but especially weight bearing exercise, we gotta keep everything mobile. So I'm gonna run you through a nice little quick cool down that you're gonna wanna do after every workout. Get this into memory. There are other stretches you could do, but I love this combo because it's gonna hit all the highlights, and I just worked out, so it's why I chose to tape it right now, because I'm nice and warm. I wouldn't do this cool down when you're on cold muscles. If you did, and you wanted to do something like it, you're gonna take this to the holds, the static holds down to like 2 seconds, okay? So sometimes I'll do this series with clients as a warm-up, but it's 1, 2, switch, 1, 2. So it's a little bit more of a loose, faster moving thing where we're not really getting deep into that stretch, okay? But afterwards, when you're nice and hot and limber and mobile, or tight maybe, but you're warm, your muscles are much more pliable, it's safer, and it's very important to stretch them out, okay? So let's start with the same thing we do in warm-up, which is cat-cow, okay? I love working your thoracic spine. So cat-cow, we're gonna get on all fours, and you're gonna arch like a cat and really round like that, and then you're gonna arch this way, and you're gonna project your chest outward and arch your spine. You're gonna project this way, and you're gonna project that way, okay? But we're gonna do it on all fours. So, hands and knees. I'm here, and I'm gonna first tuck my tailbone and arch my spine like a cat, and now I'm gonna arch my spine apparently like a cow. I don't know, I gotta observe cows and see if they do that. Tuck the tailbone, arch up, and tuck the tailbone the other way. Push the chest out, look up. It will feel natural to breathe out in cat and breathe in cow. Let's do at least 5 to 8 of these. Okay, the next one, especially those of you who do rotational sports, but really just in general, keeping your spine healthy, you're gonna be in fetal position. So you're gonna be on your side with your knees. Your hips have to be at a 90-degree angle, okay? If I do this and my legs get straight, I'm gonna lose what I'm going for, okay? So knees are up, and this arm is nice and straight out my side. My hands are together. Now without raising my knee up in there, I'm gonna roll, breathe out, and try to touch that shoulder, touch this top shoulder to the floor, and I return to center. Let's do 6 on each side. Now, this is more of a spine mobility drill, so don't sit there and hammer it. If you can't get that top shoulder down to the floor, do not sit there and like try to pry yourself. This will happen over time, okay? You want to get this mobility to be able to rotate. Again, we're switching positions. Remember to pull the knees up 0 to 90 at your hips. Don't let your legs migrate straight. So again, 6 on this side. So if you find yourself tight where you can't get that top shoulder to the floor, then don't force it. Just keep working on feeling nice and loose as you do this move, okay? You know, breathe in and breathe out with it nice and relaxed. This isn't like some big hamstring stretch. We're not trying to like hammer the spine into submission. We're trying to give it nice loose pliability, okay? So now we're gonna do a combo of moves that's a little bit different than yoga poses. We're gonna start with downward dog, and then we're gonna work on hip flexors. So the hip flexor is a set of muscles that when you sit in a seated position, the muscles branch off. You got psoas muscles, a bunch of muscles that wrap around the hip and the groin, and they tend to pull on the back and create some back pain when they're tight. So what's the problem is we sit like that all day with them shortened. And when they're short, and then we go to stand up, well, what happens? They're gonna pull. So this is where you get the belly out, back arch look, and a lot of your back pain is gonna come from tight psoas, tight hip flexors, tight glutes, not actually your back or your spine. A lot of times people's problems is they don't address this, okay? And when you do it wrong, you think you're stretching it. So the standing version of this stretch, which I also do with clients, is we take a long lunge stance. And this is what people do wrong. See that? You probably can't. See that roundedness in my low back? That's not gonna get my hip flexor. I've got to, not this way, but tuck my tailbone under. See how the roundness just went away? Wrong, right, okay? So I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, so I take a long stretch. I tell clients to make a fist and put it in their tailbone. It reminds them to shove forward from their hip area. Tuck the tailbone and they're gonna sink straight down. As long as you kept that hip engaged and I don't let the butt come back, you are stretching your hip flexors, your psoas, your muscle, right? I like to do it afterwards, sometimes that way, sometimes this way. I love this because it's a flowing set of moves, okay? We're gonna address hamstring, glute, hips, all that guy. So let's start in downward dog. We go hips up, chest down, and push through the heels, right? You push your heels to the floor, and let's hold for like a count of 5. Okay? And now I'm gonna step. I'm gonna show you from the right side. So I'm gonna step with my right leg first, outside my hand. If you can't get your foot all the way up to your hand, that's fine. Some of my clients don't have that kind of mobility. At least step sort of outside, so I'm not coming down here in the front. I'm coming outside, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this left leg, straighten it out, and drive my hip, my groin to the floor, okay? Now you should feel that stretch right in front of your pelvis, right in front of your hip, really low. If you've got that, the butt engaged and down, you'll get that stretch really nicely, okay? So we got that one side, let's go hips up, chest down. See if you can't get deeper into the downward dog every time. Get your butt up higher, your heels down more. And then we go left leg, or the other one, whichever one you didn't do. And again, you can see from this side, see my right leg's not bent, it's fairly straight, and I'm gonna drive from my hip, which is below my belt line, drive it to the floor. If you have tight hip flexors, tight psoas, you're gonna love this stretch. And down, one more time each side. Okay, step outside that hand, even if you can't get there, elongate your whole body from your toes up to your chest. Okay, one more. See if you can, again, get a little higher with the hips, a little lower with the heels. And step through, elongate that hip, right? Really drive through it. Okay, now we're gonna change it up. We're gonna go hips up, chest down. And now watch, I'm gonna take this right leg and I'm gonna fold it and put it right between my hands, okay? So from the front, I just stepped through, my knee came between my hands, and my back leg, you can't see, is coming straight backwards. Now, if you can't get to that position where your back leg's straight backwards, it is fine to modify with this back leg. What I'm most concerned about is that from the front, you're getting your chest, your sternum, right center of your chest, straight over that knee. And then you're gonna lay down into it. Now in yoga, pigeon pose the hip comes up off the mat. I don't care whether it comes off the mat or stays down. What I care about is that when you get to that position, you feel a great deep stretch in and around that glute, that hip. So my right leg is forward, so I'm gonna lay my belly, my chest, straight on top of my knee, and I'm gonna feel that stretch all up in that right butt cheek and that hip. This is an awesome, awesome hip opener. We're gonna hold this one a little bit longer than we were the other ones. And if you need to, sometimes like check the position. Can you shift your back leg? Can you shift your front leg? Can you get that stretch as you've relaxed into it to go a little bit deeper, okay? And from there, we're gonna ease out of that. Bring the legs up and just, again, step left knee right between the palms. All right, so get in this position. The back leg is straight, the front leg is bent in front of you, the knees between your hands. Remember again, sometimes I'll have clients come off to the side. I don't want you. I want your sternum, center of your chest, straight over that knee. And again, play with that position. Roll your chest around, roll your hip around until you feel like, bam, there it is. That's got my right up into that hip joint. When you do kettlebells, you're going to strengthen that butt so much. You're going to strengthen your quad, your hamstrings, your hips. And that butt's going to get so strong. But with strength, we have to watch out that we haven't lost mobility and flexibility, okay? So I'm going to ease up out of that pigeon stretch. So that's hitting the highlights after your workout. And that's a great little cool down for you. It shouldn't really take, without all my talking, any longer than 5 minutes. But don't neglect your stretching, okay? Most of the time when people develop pain, it's a form issue, which I can help, or it is a tension issue, and that needs to be dealt with, okay? Stretching and mobility is not something that fixes problems immediately. You've got to give them a couple weeks to start to see them. But check out my program at onlinekettlebells.com. It is all things kettlebells. My program is really designed for women between 30s and 70s. Women and men looking to get leaner, lose body fat, get more stronger, athletic looking. The women who work in my program, they want that strong athletic body. They want to look fit and feel fit no matter what their age. So we've got women coming from their mid-30s up into their 60s. All walks of life, people dealing with hormonal problems, people coming off of having maybe multiple babies and having that trouble weight that's a little harder than it was in your early 30s or 20s. Women post-menopausal where you've got hormonal imbalances and we've got to get the diet and the workouts right. That's who we love to help. If that's an interest to you, check out my online kettlebell program, which is $20 a month, and I teach you everything from the ground up, warm up, cool down, all the kettlebell moves, start you from beginner level, move you up to advanced at your own pace. It's a great community, accountability, and support, and that's where you check it out, onlinekettlebells.com. And again, this is 39-minute workout with David. Thank you for being with us. I'll see you next time.